Considering that you likely clicked the video after reading the title, you're probably wondering, how is that possible? Most college students and recent graduates are drowning in student debt, struggling to find a job, and should have broke. And yes, that was pretty much me as well. I was fortunate enough to have a family that could support me financially through college, so I did not need to go into student debt, but I never really knew what I wanted to do. I'd always thought that college was simply the only way, that going to college, despite having no idea what I wanted to pursue, was the right choice. In the summer of last year, I graduated college and was still just as lost. I was extremely happy that I never had to deal with homework, tests, and classes ever again, since I had no plan of going to grad school, but there was always a fear in the back of my mind as to what I would want to do after graduating that I never really had to consider deeply until I actually graduated. But of course, to celebrate my graduation, I gave myself a few months of complete nothing, playing video games, hanging out with friends, sleeping in, just completely carefree living, and I thought this was the dream. However, I woke up very soon and realized that I need to get my life together, and every day that I did not progress was another day I felt more behind, more like a bum, and more anxious. I don't know about you guys, but I've always been someone whose biggest fear was working just for the sake of working. And what I mean by that is, I don't want to work just because I need money, but I also genuinely want to enjoy what I'm doing. Of course, I recognize the majority of people in this world don't have that luxury, but I guess I didn't want to be a majority of people in this world. So I knew I had a huge passion for gaming, specifically Valorant, which I'm sure you can tell based on the other videos on my channel. And during college, tried to get into content creation and coaching, but I didn't really see a sustainable future for me, so I left that behind. And then after graduating, I attempted to make a video game reselling business by going on Facebook Marketplace and buying games in bulk and listing them on eBay. I recognize that the scalability of that is not very good, and I decided to move on from that as well. Then I considered simply giving up my passions and finding any sort of job, whether it's part or full time, and to try to work my way up just so I had consistent money coming in and I could save up. Randomly one day I thought about the fact that Christmas was coming up. The previous year's Christmas was the first time that I'd really spent a lot of money on my family, and this extends to my multiple aunts, uncles, cousins, grandparents, etc. When it came to gifts, because I was able to save up some money for my part-time job that I was working while I was at school. I probably spent like $1,000, which was a lot for me because I had nothing left on my bank account after. But that joy that I felt surprising them and giving them these gifts and making them happy made everything worth it. And so after that day, I pray to God. I'm very religious and very Christian. And I prayed and I said, God, I have no idea how I'm going to do it since I'm so lost when it comes to my future. But I pray that next year I can do the same thing for my family, but even more. And I remember that prayer, and it created a thought in my mind that told me that I want to get super fucking rich. I haven't really been someone who ever cared about being rich, but I realized how else can I retire my parents, give my family and friends nice Christmas gifts, and provide for my future wife and kids without money. So my immediate thought was, what is the fastest and most realistic way for me to get rich? I had an idea of what e-commerce, specifically dropshipping, was, and that money-making potential of that business model was extremely high. I also knew that I had a friend who many of you may know as Slast, named Matt, who had been doing dropshipping for a while and had found some success. So I messaged him asking about dropshipping and asked what I could do to get started, and my life changed ever since. August 2024 marked the beginning of my e-commerce journey, and every day I would ask questions, watch videos, do research. I straight up lived and breathed e-com. I will never forget finishing the website and ads for my first store and being so excited for the next day to potentially hear my first ka-ching that I couldn't even sleep. I got no sales the next day. I was obsessed with the game though, and I wanted to do everything possible to find my winning product and winning store. However, it wasn't easy. I struggled to find any sort of success in the beginning, burning through thousands of dollars, testing different products with no results. But I knew with every failed product that I was gaining knowledge and experience, and with due time, I would find my winning product. To keep myself accountable though, I told myself that if I could not find success by the end of the year, I would give up and simply get a job, because at that point it would mean to myself that I wasn't good enough to make it. Then finally, after a few months, my persistence paid off. One of the stores I was running started blowing up, and there was an unreal amount of Shopify notifications I was receiving. I cannot believe it. In my entire life, the most I'd ever had in my bank account was probably $4,000, and within the first month of that store, I had generated $200,000. It's insane, absolutely life changing. Soon after, I had multiple winning stores, with one in particular going so insane to the point where I was able to generate over $3 million, even doing $1 million in a week. With this success, I was able to live out my dream and absolutely splurge on my family, girlfriend, and friends for Christmas. It is now October of 2025, and I have been doing ecom ever since. I also recently was able to purchase my dream car, an Audi R8. I absolutely love this car. I've already gotten it wrapped, as you can see, but I do plan on getting mods on it, so stay tuned for that because I'll definitely be posting content on that. But it is absolutely crazy to think that I own a supercar at 23. Although you might not be impressed considering you got 16-year-olds nowadays buying supercars left and right, but I definitely would not have been able to do it without the help of my friends, family, and of course God. Specifically, though, having someone to guide me throughout the learning process of dropshipping, along with my discipline and work ethic, is what really allowed me to succeed at such an elevated rate and is something that I am always grateful for. And so I decided I wanted to help others have access to the same guidance that I had by making a free Discord server. In my server, you'll have access to everything you need to start making money online through dropshipping. It's literally entirely up to you whether you utilize it, so make sure you check out the link below and join the Ecom Academy. I know I did a lot of yapping in this video, but I really hope that my story can inspire a few of you watching. Something I hope you guys can take away from this video is that yes, it is true that money isn't the key to happiness, but it 100% can create happiness, especially if you have a purpose. Every day I work with a purpose, which is to help my loved ones, which gives me the drive I need to do what I need to do. So stop making excuses for yourself, stop doom scrolling and gooning, and start getting to work.